Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Samuel Jonas Yabua, a lecturer at the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Sunyani Technical University. My nose mask is on because the government needs everybody alive. But for the purpose of clarity, and I'm in here alone, so kindly permit me to remove the nose mask so that we can all hear very well the information I want to put across. Yet I'm here to make this video because we have a recent issue with students with registration issues with students in the department as well. Students find it difficult in choosing the right option and even making the registration process successful. So I'm here to make it available or known to students the number of options that we have when you get to second year, second semester. So I'll be talking about one of them, which is Power Systems Engineering. An electric power system is a connection of electrical components deployed to supply, transfer, and use electric power. In other words, the electric power system can be explained as a branch of electrical and electronic engineering that is responsible for generation, transmission, and distribution of electric power. So an example of an electric power system is the grid, and the grid provides power to an extended area. So it's by the help of the grid that power is being transmitted to all sectors of the nation. So an electrical grid power system can be broadly divided into three main sectors: the generation sector, the transmission sector, and then the distribution sector. So the generation sector is the sector responsible for the generation of electric power. So we can have generation stations like the Akosombo Dam. See, the Akosombo Dam is a major generation station in Ghana. Then we have the Bui Dam, we have the Asogli, and we have the TTP, the Takoradi Thermal Power Plant, that uses heat for power generation. Then we have the Navrongo Solar Farm. So all these generation stations generate power and transmit into the grid and from there it is transmitted to the various load centers. So the sectors that is responsible for transmission of this bulk power from the generation stations to the various load centers is the transmission system. So the transmission systems is also responsible to carry the power that has been generated at Akosombo, at Bui Power Dam, at Takoradi, Asogli, and Navrongo, all the generation stations into the various load centers. You see, when the power gets to the load center, it needs to be distributed to the various users. Okay, the domestic users, the industries, and other factories that makes use of the power. And the sector that is responsible for this is the distribution system. So, or the distribution sector. So the distribution system, we can have the ECG, we can have the NETCO, even VRA is another part is doing part of the distribution. And transmission too, we can have the GRICO. So the GRICO is a company in Ghana responsible for sending the generated power to the various load centers. The power system for HND electrical students has been grouped into 4 modules: Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4. The Module 1 is the Power System 1. Power System 1 is a core, meaning that irrespective of the area you want to measure in second semester, you have to take Power System 1. Then when you get to the second semester, There will be four options available, and they are the power system engineering, the telecom engineering, biomedical engineering, and then the computer engineering. So if you want to major in power systems, then you choose the power system engineering, and the course that will be available in second year, second semester as a power system option is the power system 2. When you get to third year first semester, the same options will be available, but you will choose the power system 3. Power system 1, telecommunication will be available, biomedical will be there, computer will be there, but you have to choose the path that you have decided to major. So at first semester, third year, you choose power system 3. Then the last module will be taken in the second semester, third year, which is power system 4. So in module 1, power system 1, students will be introduced to all the energy sources and the generation technologies available. So the various energy sources will be introduced to students and how the electric power can be generated from each of these sources. So when you look at the course content, see we talk about energy sources, then switchgear and protective devices, the economics of power generation, the energy efficiency, and the embedded generation. So these courses will be introduced to students in then the module 1, that's the power system 1. In module 2, which is power systems 2, the students will be taken through power system analysis, power transfer, and control. So the course content will include the power system analysis, typically the load flow studies. And the load flow studies, we go through some of the iteration methods which is used in analyzing the typical power system. So the iteration methods like the Newton-Raphson's iteration method, the Gauss-Seidel iteration method, decouple, and then the fast decoupled method. So that better understanding of these iteration methods will help the students to do a comprehensive analysis of the power system. Again, we also study power transfer and its control. So a typical control issue is load and frequency control. See, when there is a mismatch between load and frequency, the system, the frequency can go high or too low. And when the frequency deviates from the nominal figure or the nominal value, the system can fall out of step and causing the system to lose synchronism. And when the system loses synchronism, it can lead to total or partial blackout for the whole nation. So the students to do a comprehensive study on how to balance load against frequency. In module 3, which is the power systems 3, students are supposed to get the concept of substation planning for economy and safety. So the course content may include substation planning itself. That's the factors that goes into development of a substation. So the load centers we mentioned earlier on is a substation. So what are the factors to be considered when designing a substation and other related components or activities that needs to be done before a substation can be built. We also talk about transmission network. In the transmission network, we made mention of the overhead lines, the cables, and also some faults that may be associated with the transmission network, typically the overvoltage transients. Again, we can't also talk about high voltage transmission without talking about insulation and its breakdown. So we talk about the materials that can be used for insulation, and the factors that cause an insulator to break down and how these factors can be minimized. So when the student selects the option for power system engineering, by third year, first semester, you have a broad knowledge about substation planning and substation development and other associated equipment or apparatus in designing a substation. Module 4, which is Power System 4. The students will go through power system operations and protection. So the power system operation and protection. So the detailed course content will include the power system operation. We talk about circuit breakers and protection. Say the power has been generated, transmitted, and distributed. Then, in order to maintain its reliable operation, then attention must be given to its protection. So students will have a broad knowledge in how to protect the power system network in order to avoid intermittent power failures and other related issues. After the student has gone through successfully in all the 4 modules mentioned, the students now becomes competent and capable to work in many industries and factories. So example of them are the Volta River Authority. You see, in Ghana, the company responsible for power generation is the VRA. And remember, we mentioned that power generation is one of the sectors in power systems engineering. So if the student goes through the 4 modules successfully, he would be able to work with Volta River Authority, where he'll be in charge of power generation. And we also have the Bui Power Dam there, or Bui Power Authority there. Can work in Asogli, can work in the Navrongo Solar Farm. Almost all the generation stations in Ghana, students will be able to work there with high level of competence. Then we have the Greco. Students will also be working in the transmission company like the Greco. So now we have knowledge in power transmission. See, when the power is generated, it needs to be transmitted. And the sector responsible for transmission in Ghana here is the Greco. So power system engineering students should be able to work with Greco and any other power transmission company in Ghana and across the world. And other sectors also responsible for power distribution. Typical example is the ECG, Electricity Company of Ghana. You see, the power has been generated, transmitted by Greco. Now it needs to be distributed to the consumers like me and you, and the other companies that require bulk power. Okay, so the sectors responsible for this power distribution is the distribution companies. Example is the ECG, NETCO, and even some part of VRA also does power distribution. Then airports, electrical engineers, special power options are also needed over there. Then thermal oil refinery, students can also work there. In fact, all manufacturing companies or any other company that uses power for production needs an electrical engineer power option. So students will be able to work in any other company that needs power for production or that uses power for its activities. So there are a whole lot when you pass through and become an electrical power systems engineer. There's so many opportunities available for you out there. So I will encourage each and everyone, those who will choose this option, to try their possible best to do well, to study hard and do well in all the courses in order for them to qualify as an electrical engineer. Thank you for watching this video. All that I want to say is that any student who in future face any challenge or difficulty in selecting an option should feel free to contact the head of department or any of the lecturers that you see on campus. We are readily available to be of help to you. Okay, thank you and wish you well. Goodbye.